Nearly 8 years ago on March 15th, 2018, I posted what would go on to become my most popular video ever, a video about 90% constitutional junk silver. That video is now back on the channel for your viewing pleasure in all of its cringiness. At the time, I had no idea this video would reach over 72,000 views. Back then, silver was trading around $16.30 an ounce. Premiums were basically non-existent, and the conversation around physical metals looked very different than it does today. But the core question hasn't changed. Is junk silver still a smart way to own physical silver? Today, I want to revisit that thesis, not emotionally, not nostalgically, but analytically. What did we get right back then, almost 8 years ago? What's changed? And does constitutional silver still deserve a place in serious long-term allocation? So let's break this down. In that original video, my argument was simple. Junk silver offered three things: a recognizable fractional physical silver asset, lower premiums relative to government bullion, a practical way to accumulate real metal without overpaying for it. I also talked about scarcity, tradability during SHTF type scenarios, and so forth. This wasn't a hype argument or a fear tactic. It was a utility argument, and that distinction really matters. Let's fast forward now, 8 years later. Silver today is trading around $90 an ounce, and over the last several years we've seen something structurally different happen in the silver market. We've talked about it recently before. We've seen repeated supply deficits, industrial demand, especially from solar, electrification, electronics, electronic cars, tech. It's increased significantly. The mining supply is not expanding, and silver has quietly moved from an ignored historic relic metal to a strategic industrial asset. That backdrop strengthens the physical ownership thesis, not weakens it. Because when structural demand rises and supply doesn't keep pace, physical inventory matters more, not less. So here's the key point. Constitutional silver stopped being minted in 1964. Talked about this in the video 8 years ago. The supply is finite. It's not being replenished. Every time silver spikes and melt happens, the available pool shrinks even more. That alone creates a long-term scarcity characteristic that didn't exist when these coins were currency. Second is the premiums. Even in 2026, junk silver often trades at competitive or lower premiums compared to modern bullion coins and even bars sometimes, and that matters a lot because overpaying on premiums can destroy compounding efficiency over time. And third, liquidity and recognizability. You don't need to explain what a pre-1965 quarter is, okay? A lot of people around the world know what it is. It's widely known, it's divisible, and it's functional. Now, are there a lot of uneducated people, not only here in the United States, but all over the world? Yes, absolutely. There are a ton of uneducated people that don't know 90% to a nickel, right? Like there's people that just don't know. There are people that don't know what state they live in. So that's obviously a big deal. And obviously an advantage to people that are in this space and care and study the metals market and are interested in this kind of thing. And in uncertain markets like we have today, simplicity has value, and there's definitely some simplicity in old school silver coins, constitutional junk silver. Looking back at that old cringy video from 2018, here's what holds up today. The fractional argument. It is a great entry-level option in today's economy for people that are just getting started in silver, and precious metals in general for that matter. The premium efficiency is great, the recognizability factor all still holds true. So in summary, constitutional junk silver, it's a great entry point in my opinion. Even with today's crazy prices, you don't have to spend a ton of money to start accumulating a decent little stack of coins. What has evolved over the last nearly 8 years since I made that video? Well, the macro backdrop became a lot stronger now. 8 years ago, we were talking about stacking as preparation for some kind of scenario or event. And while today that still holds true, we're talking about a structural monetary shift, rising sovereign debt, persistent deficits, and growing distrust in fiat systems. Everything that was still true 8 years ago, it's even more true now and then some. It wasn't as visible back then as it is now. Now it's really quite obvious. And honestly, guys, this is some of the reason why I'm back on YouTube, because I left YouTube and stopped making videos and hid my channel for years, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And, you know, some of these old videos, the last video I posted was 2019. It's not about me, guys. I am back on this channel to help people understand where we are at economically, monetarily, and my goal has always been to simply help people, to educate people, and to help them make smarter financial decisions. This is not investment advice, this is not financial advice, it's just an effort to get people to think a little bit differently about what they do with their money. Let me be clear. Junk silver is not magic. It's not a get-rich-quick asset. It's not going to outperform tech stocks in a bull market. That was never the point. The point is allocation. The point is portfolio diversification. The point is owning a tangible monetary metal in a fractional, practical form. And that logic definitely still holds. In fact, in a structurally tight silver market, it arguably holds even more weight. Guys, in summary, I have been studying, documenting, and profiting from this market for years now. Not because I'm trying to time the next spike, but because I believe precious metals are part of a long-term monetary transition story. Junk silver, constitutional 90% junk silver, still remains one of the most accessible, rational entry points into that story, especially for the newbie. It's simple, it's finite, it's liquid. You can take it to any local coin shop and get cash for your junk silver. It doesn't rely on someone else's balance sheet. 8 years ago, over 72,000 people watched that original video, not because it was flashy, it was actually pretty cringeworthy. And it's up back on the channel for your viewing pleasure. Go give it a nostalgic listen. Make fun of it, laugh, I don't care. The argument made sense. It made sense back then, and I still believe it makes sense today. Not emotionally, not based on fear, but structurally. If you guys appreciate long-term documented analysis of gold and silver, not hype cycles, consider subscribing. We're back at it. This is the Gold and Silver Brief. Thank you.